He who controls the spice controls the universe.
David Lynch's Dune is the subject of many myths and legends, much like its central character. Join Screen Rant as we look back at the 1984 sci-fi adaptation that failed to live up to the source material. Lynch's Dune had a very troubled production. The book was originally going to be adapted by Chilean filmmaker Alejandro Jodorowsky, but once his lavish and absurd production fell apart, the reins were handed off to surrealist storyteller David Lynch. Of course, this wasn't the first sci-fi film offered to Lynch at the time. The director was first approached by George Lucas to helm Return of the Jedi. Unfortunately for Lucas, the mere mention of a Wookiee led to a pretty bad headache for Lynch.
And he showed me these things called Wookiees. Then I got a really, almost like a migraine headache.
Dune had no such effect on the director. Well, at least not until he started filming it. Production on the sci-fi epic was a nightmare in and of itself. Lynch has often talked about how making the movie was one of the worst experiences of his life, and he had to contend with studio interference and a punishing location shoot. Lynch also had a near impossible task of adapting the entire first book into a single film. The massive tome features an expansive story that could in no way be completely covered in under 2 hours. That's why Lynch's first cut was well over 4 hours long. Of course, the studio balked at this runtime and forced massive cuts that all but stripped the second half of most of its plot. All these problems resulted in a massive box office bomb for both Lynch and the studio. Dune was critically panned at the time, and all talk of any sequels stopped suddenly. Fortunately, Lynch's career recovered with Blue Velvet and Twin Peaks, but he still considers Dune to be his biggest failure and his worst movie, which is big talk from the man who made Inland Empire. Thanks for watching Screen Rant, and long live the fighters!